Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. The bold and the beautiful spoilers. Bill's marriage proposal shocks Brooke. New groom offer since Ridge refuses to commit. The bold and the beautiful B&B. Spoilers reveal that Bill Spencer, Don Diamont, may start to believe Brooke Logan, Catherine Kelly Lang, is truly his future. There are only so many rejections that Bill can take, so he may have reached his limit when it comes to Katie Logan, Heather Tom, shutting him down. It feels like this B&B story may be shifting when you consider the timing of Ridge Forrester's Thorsten Kaye pullback in Taylor Hayes, Rebecca Budig direction. Ridge may be headed for a Taylor reunion, so Brooke may need a backup man to turn to. That man could be Bill, especially when you think about their history and deep understanding of each other. Brooke sees a special side of Bill that most people don't see and doesn't hold his old mistakes against him. Although Bill was hoping to repair his family with Katie and Will Spencer, Crew Morrow, Katie insisted it wasn't going to happen. Bill may take Katie at her word and decide he's actually meant to be with her sister. After all, Katie pointed out that things might be different if Brooke was available. Brooke could indeed find herself single if Ridge reunites with Taylor to mend her broken heart. Of course, Bill may not even wait until Brooke is available depending on how things play out. We know Bill has already been pushing Brooke's buttons a bit over the fact that Ridge hasn't remarried her. Brooke downplayed the idea of another wedding and acted like it wasn't something she needed, but she may change her mind. If Brooke starts pressuring Ridge for some new nuptials, she may end up disappointed when he refuses to commit. However, that could be Bill's cue to step up and offer one of his own famous marriage proposals. It certainly wouldn't be the first time Bill popped the question to Brooke, so it's reasonable to think he might ask her to marry him once again. Even if Bill doesn't get a yes right away, he might hold out hope for another Brill wedding and a fresh start with Brooke by his side. If Ridge bails on his current relationship to get back together with Taylor, will Brooke consider tying the knot with Bill instead? The sun hung low over Los Angeles, casting a warm glow on the iconic Forrester Creations building. Inside, the atmosphere was tense with anticipation. As Brooke Logan sat in her office, her mind drifted back to her recent encounters with Ridge Forrester. The passionate chemistry they once shared seemed overshadowed by uncertainty. Ridge had always been her anchor, but lately he had wavered, leaving her adrift in a sea of doubt. Was he ever going to commit again? Brooke sighed, glancing out the window as memories of their romantic past flooded her mind. Endless nights filled with laughter, stolen kisses, and whispered promises of forever. Yet each time she thought of Ridge, a lingering question nagged at her heart. Would he ever fully return to her? Their love story had always been tumultuous, but Brooke wanted stability. She wanted a partner who would stand by her, someone she could count on without hesitation. Just then, the door swung open, and in walked Bill Spencer, his trademark confidence radiating through the room. The tension in the air shifted as he approached Brooke, a mischievous smile dancing on his lips. "Hey Brooke," he said, leaning casually against her desk. "I couldn't help but notice that you seem a bit contemplative today." Brooke raised an eyebrow, feigning annoyance. "And what would you know about my feelings, Bill? You have a knack for being the center of attention." Bill chuckled, a glint of determination in his eyes. "Oh, I know a thing or two about desire and ambition, and right now I'm sensing some unfinished business between us." She crossed her arms defensively, but inside, a flicker of intrigue ignited. Bill had always been a force of nature, and the spark between them was undeniable, but could she really trust him again? After all, their past was fraught with complications and betrayals. "Bill, you know I'm still trying to figure things out with Ridge. You can't just waltz in here and expect me to drop everything." "You're right," he replied, his voice dropping to a more serious tone. "But let's face it, Ridge has been wishy-washy for far too long. You deserve more than that, Brooke. You deserve someone who knows what they want." The way he said her name sent shivers down her spine, and for a brief moment, she was transported back to the heady days when their chemistry ignited the world around them. But Bill was not the man she had envisioned her future with, was he? Yet something about his words resonated deep within her. The thought of Ridge's indecision weighed heavily on her heart, and for the first time, she found herself considering what Bill was offering. "I appreciate your concern, Bill, but you know this isn't simple," she replied, searching for the right words. "Ridge is a big part of my life, and I can't just toss that aside." He took a step closer, his intensity radiating through the room. "But what if I could offer you something better? Something real? No more games, no more uncertainties, just a clear path forward." Brooke's heart raced as she studied his expression. He seemed sincere, and she could sense a shift in his demeanor. This was not the arrogant playboy she had known. This was a man who was ready to take charge, a man who was willing to fight for her. Yet the memory of Ridge's warm embrace lingered, holding her captive. "Bill, what are you saying?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. With a determined glint in his eye, Bill reached into his pocket and produced a small velvet box. He opened it slowly, revealing a dazzling ring that sparkled in the soft light. "Brooke Logan, will you marry me?" The air hung heavy with disbelief as Brooke's mind raced. Bill Spencer was proposing to her? The man who had once been a source of chaos in her life was now standing before her with a ring and a promise? Confusion clouded her thoughts, battling the emotions that threatened to overwhelm her. "Bill, I don't know what to say," she stammered, her heart racing. "This is unexpected." "Think about it," he urged, his voice steady. "You have always been the one for me, and I've spent too long chasing after a future that didn't include you. I want to build a life with you, a life filled with passion, adventure, and unwavering support. You deserve that, Brooke." As she gazed into his eyes, she saw sincerity, a rare moment of vulnerability that made her reconsider everything. The chaos of her feelings for Ridge paled in comparison to the possibilities Bill presented. She felt a rush of excitement at the idea of a new beginning, but fear gripped her heart. Would she be making the same mistake twice? "Please, just give it a thought," Bill said, closing the box and tucking it away. "I'll respect your decision, whatever it may be, but I want you to know that I'm here, ready to love you the way you deserve." The weight of his words hung in the air, and for a moment, Brooke could only stare at the door, lost in her thoughts. It had always been about Ridge, but perhaps it was time to consider a new direction. Bill had always been a whirlwind, but maybe that was exactly what she needed to break free from her stagnant heartache. "Bill, this is a lot to take in," she finally managed, her voice trembling. "I need time to think." He nodded, understanding flooding his expression. "Take all the time you need. I'm not going anywhere." With that, he left the room, leaving Brooke alone with her swirling emotions and the shimmering promise of a future that had just been offered to her. As the sun set over the city, casting long shadows across her office, Brooke couldn't shake the feeling that her life was on the precipice of change. Ridge's indecision had pushed her into the arms of a man she never thought she'd consider marrying. Yet, as she stared at the spot where Bill had stood, she couldn't help but wonder if this was fate's way of guiding her towards something better. Meanwhile, at the Forrester mansion, Ridge paced the living room, his mind a tempest of confusion. He had seen the spark between Brooke and Bill ignite once more, and the thought of losing Brooke to his rival sent a surge of panic through him. Why couldn't he just commit? Why did he keep hesitating? With a heavy sigh, he sank into the sofa, remembering their laughter and love. But uncertainty gripped him like a vice. He cared for Brooke, but the fear of being vulnerable held him back. Ridge knew he had to make a choice, soon, before it was too late. He could feel the clock ticking down on his last chance with the woman he loved. Back at Brooke's office, her phone buzzed, snapping her from her thoughts. It was Ridge. Taking a deep breath, she answered. "Ridge, hey." "Brooke, can we talk?" His voice was tight, laced with urgency. "Sure, but I have some things I need to tell you too," she replied, her heart racing as she considered how to reveal Bill's proposal. "Good. Meet me at the beach, okay? We need to figure this out once and for all," Ridge insisted. Brooke agreed, her heart pounding as she prepared for what would surely be a pivotal moment in their relationship. Would she find the clarity she craved, or would she be forced to confront the reality of her situation? A choice between the past she held dear and a future full of promise with Bill? As she left the office, a sense of determination washed over her. No matter the outcome, it was time to embrace the uncertainty, take charge of her life, and finally make the decision that would define her future. The waves crashed against the shore, mirroring the tumultuous journey she was about to embark on. Would she choose the familiar comfort of Ridge, or take a leap of faith with Bill? Only time would tell, but one thing was certain: the drama in her life was far from over.